Good evening, my dear colleagues. Welcome to another Inget Zoom Serious Talk. This evening, our guest speaker is Professor Dr. Feyza Doyran from Hasan Kalyoncu University. She's the head of the ELT department there. She has several published books and articles on teacher education and training, foreign language research, ELT methodology, verbal and nonverbal communication, and teacher behaviors. Recently, her book, Yalnızlık Senfonisi, which is a collection of her short stories, was published by the Roman, I believe it's a Turkish publishing company, Roman Publishing Company. So if you're interested, please get your hands on it and read it. I will definitely. This evening, the title of her talk is The Power of Using Hypnotic Language Patterns in Language Teaching. Welcome, dear Feyza Hocam, and thank you. Thank you very much for being our guest speaker, despite your serious health problem. I'll do everything to help you if you need any help. So the screen is all yours.
Thank you so much, my dear Professor Aydan Erses Hocam. And thank you for inviting me, all Inget and my colleagues. It's an honor for me to be here with you, to see my professors and my colleagues, my friends, my colleagues, my friends, it's really nice. I'll try to do my best. I was really excited for this talk, but unfortunately, we make plans and life goes on. So some things happen, of course. I'm okay now. I can read the screen, but if I have problems, I will just let you know. I'm really excited to share this with you. First of all, of course, feel free to make your comments, but I don't think I can read the chat box right now here, but Aydan Hocam can just let me know about the comments or any questions. Yes, today I would like to talk about the power of using hypnotic language patterns in teaching, in language teaching, in teaching as teachers, educators, trainers. Why don't we benefit from hypnotic language patterns? Because usually in our classes, most of my colleagues, I am sure you are naturally applying most of these things that I will be talking about. But just to refresh our practices and let's just talk all together about how we can just use this power. And of course, okay, now I'm moving on. Hopefully, it's moving on the slides. So you want to master hypnotic language patterns, don't you? You can become amazed at your positive changes after this presentation. I know that you are curious as much as I am. The fact that you are attending this session means you are excited to learn hypnotic patterns. Just a few examples of how we use hypnotic language. So I think I finished, Aydan Hocam. That's it. If you're practicing, if you're using such expressions, language patterns, and consciously or not, then we are using them. If you're using positive reinforcement and positive language and some kinds of hypnotic patterns, then this is the aim of this presentation. And just to take the things that we are doing or not doing to the conscious level, um, conscious competence kind of level, and then we will let it go to unconscious competence level. So today I will talk about beliefs a little bit, the power of inner thought, but these are all by themselves a topic to talk about in one session. They deserve to talk about for one session, but very briefly I will talk about these and a little bit about meta model. And then I will move on to hypnotic language patterns and the Milton model. Of course, we are borrowing the patterns from Milton model. And I will just share with you 5 techniques to achieve, to apply Milton model in our classes, sometimes in daily life situations, or even as parents, maybe. And then if we have enough time, I will just quickly have a kind of guided imagination to feel you relaxed, and then finish this session today. Okay, now when you see these 2 paths, which one would you choose? And if we say that I would choose the one on the left or I would choose the one on the right, uh, what who do you think is in control of our choices? Who makes the decision? How do we make a decision when we see 2 paths, or when we have 2 dilemmas or 2 choices? How do we make our decisions? So sometimes we think that we are giving our decisions, taking our decisions consciously, but most of the time, this is not the case. We usually become what we continuously do, say, think, and what we are exposed to during the course of our lifetime. Whatever we are exposed to, or we are loaded with lots of things, and then we become whatever we are exposed to. We speak hundreds of words a day. I don't know how many words we use during the day, but perform thousands of nonverbal behaviors and think thousands of thoughts. Are we, this is my question, are we aware of the power of these words, language patterns we use, or we are exposed to such patterns, and thoughts we think and the behaviors we perform? Are we conscious about the stimuli we are exposed to every single second? Of course, I mean, I'm not saying that we have to be conscious about all these all the time. Of course not. We naturally have the flow of our life. Everything goes on, but we need to be conscious. These stimuli penetrate into our brain and they are kept there forever. Consciously or unconsciously, we live our lives under the effect of these pre-established codes and labels, and then our brain maps are formed, and we communicate with other people using these negative or positive codes or labels or patterns. So in learning, especially in language learning, beliefs are very important. Inner talk, and sometimes it becomes a self-hypnosis, and the power of hypnotic language techniques. Socrates said, I cannot teach anybody anything, I can only make them think. So how can we make this? You cannot teach a man anything, you can only help him find it within himself, Galileo said. When the student is ready, the master appears. But how can we make the student ready, or how can we help, not make, but help the student be ready to receive, to learn how to learn, or to learn? So as I said before, some of us are naturally applying this, but let's bring this to our conscious competence level and see which ones we are applying, how we are applying, and see, and let's think about this. And today, my claim will be for this talk, first of all, if we don't deal with belief change, it will be very difficult to teach somebody something or help somebody want to learn something. And I have lots of books about beliefs. And for example, I have here Robert Dale's Changing Belief Systems with NLP, or all lots of books, lots of things are written on how to change beliefs and loosening the labels. We have lots of labels we live by, and we have to work on the labels and of course, turn the tone of our self-talk into positive. And of course, today, I just want to say that we have to be aware of the meta language and hypnotic language patterns and make use of benefit from these. You know the story of the drought? Everybody, do you remember? Okay, it was a very old one. I used to share it in my classes, and I just remembered this, and I found it. I found my book. Of course, I shouldn't be in among books and dust, but I found the book and found this story. So let me read the story for you. Can you hear my meditation music?
Yes, very nice.
Okay. All right. Once in a faraway country, there was a drought. There had been no rain for days, no rain for weeks, no rain for months, and the land was dry, dry, dry. And yeah, it's difficult for it. And cracked and brown and dusty, and the sun beat down relentlessly, and the heat was unbearable, like living in an oven, impossible to breathe, and everywhere the dust, on the ground, in the air, on your skin, in your eyes, in your throat, suffocating dust. And the plants were dying, changing from green through yellow to brown. They withered and died. And the animals were starving, the cattle, the sheep, the pigs, the goats, getting thinner and thinner and thinner and dying. And the people were starving too, for there was nothing to eat. And the drought went on and on and on. So one day, all the men went into the temple to pray for rain. In the sweltering heat, they got down on their knees on the hard, dusty ground, and they prayed and they prayed and they prayed for rain, but still there was no rain. And so another day, all the women went into the temple to pray for rain. In the sweltering heat, they got down on their knees on the hard, dusty ground, and they prayed and they prayed and they prayed for rain. But still there was no rain. And then one day, a little girl went up the steps to the temple. She was about 9, and she was wearing a dirty yellow dress that was torn. Her feet were bare and her legs and arms were dusty. Her long hair was tangled and in a mess. There was dirt on her face, and up she went, up the steps of the temple to pray for rain. But do you know what she had with her? She had with her an umbrella, not a, okay, a scruffy old broken umbrella, but an umbrella just the same. And she skipped into the temple and got down on her knees and put her umbrella on the ground beside her. And she prayed and she prayed and she prayed for rain. And do you know what? When she came out of the temple, it was raining. If you remember this story, I like this story. And sometimes we say, we expect things, we say things, but the most important thing is that we need to believe that something, we wholeheartedly need to believe that something will happen. So if you can dream it, you can do it, said Walt Disney. And let's add to it, if you can do it if you believe you can. If you believe it, you can achieve it. And if I have the belief that I can do it, I shall surely acquire the capacity to do it. And even if I may not have it at the beginning, right? So just like saying in our seminars or in our classes, I cannot do something, I say, don't put a full stop, just comma, yet, add yet. So if you think you cannot, then you won't. So we have empowering and limiting beliefs, like every one of us, like life is. What comes to your mind? Being a student at university is, or being an English language teacher is. People are, women are, men are. Success is, what is success? Success is happiness. Any other comments? Success is
Joy, Aylin Hocam
joy.
says. Defne Hocam says ahead.
Ahead, great.
Yeah, happiness, pleasure. I agree.
Pleasure.
Burcu Hocam says having survived.
Having survived shows that you have survived.
If you're still breathing, Burcu Hocam, yes, that's success.
Then it's success. Great. So we have all different kinds of limiting or empowering beliefs. How about language learning? Beliefs about what do you hear most? What are some kinds of negative beliefs that you hear from your learners? Or as a learner, if you are still a learner of a language, what are the negative beliefs you have? Or what negative beliefs do you hear frequently? Yeah.
Defne Hocam says they cannot learn English properly. Gökhan Hocam says, I know the words, but I can't connect them.
Okay.
Eray Hocam says, am I too old to learn? Any other negative beliefs that you have encountered? That's all.
Yes,
Feyza
some
Hocam.
of them like I'm a failure, I'm not good at this and that, my pronunciation is terrible, I can't learn a new language at this age, I can't learn it, I'm not a language learner, kind of. Yes, we hear lots of things. And if somebody has such a belief, then yes, we cannot move on. There will be a shield in front of that person and we cannot read. So whether you believe you can or you think you can't, you are right. Let's try to understand or catch our negative beliefs and try to turn them into positive. Of course, there are some ways how to deal with these negative. Of course, you cannot just all of a sudden change them with a magic stick all the negative beliefs into positive ones. But of course, the first step is to be aware of all these. And we need to work on them, the empowering and limiting beliefs. So whenever you catch a belief, we have to just label it as empowering or limiting. As parents or teachers, how can we change these limiting beliefs, negative thoughts into positive, so that people make profound changes in their lives as well as in their learning process? Would you like to change these and make these profound changes? And what is the solution? How can we change these solutions, these negative beliefs? So yes, the power of inner talk. What do we say to ourselves when we talk? Of course, there's a chatterbox inside our heads, and it talks all the time. We have to deal with the tone of that chatterbox so that it turns into positive. How shall we make our learners or children want to learn, believe that they can learn, be motivated to learn, become curious, enthusiastic learners? Shall we hypnotize people? Okay, look at this shape and okay, hypnotizing. Of course, no, this is not the aim. We won't hypnotize them, but sometimes we don't realize that we've been walking home, taking the same route every day, but didn't notice the old building had been knocked down. We've been driving on the highway, we've been daydreaming for a long time at work, and then all of a sudden we just realized that we've been doing something for a long time. Or 3-hour movie finished, we've been watching for our favorite TV show for a long time. So we naturally we have zoned out with our eyes open. We don't have to close our eyes, or we don't have to be hypnotized or hypnotize ourselves. But you know, the book Flow, here I also have this book with me here today. If you haven't read it, yeah, it's one of my best books that I can just share with you. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi's Flow. So yes, sometimes we have this flow and we don't realize how time passes. So those moments are kind of hypnotic kind of moments, right? So then how can we benefit from these positive verbal and nonverbal behaviors and language? Communication is an art, and it's not that easy because we receive something, a message, and then that message goes through all these filters and thoughts, feelings, expectations, memories, senses, lots of things. And then after this filter, we make our own meaning, and then we give a response, and then the other person gets it, and then processes it. And it's really not that easy to achieve and to understand each other. So we have to be very alert and use the power of language and understand that language just we're not just the words. The words don't represent the person, the character. We have to be very careful. So let's talk about meta model a little bit, and then I will move on to Milton model. John Grinder and Richard Bandler started this, and they talked about meta model, a tool to get closer access to someone's experience that they code into speech. And in Structure of Magic, the 2 volumes, Structure of Magic, because it's a kind of magic that we are when we learn about these patterns that we can use or we should be careful not to use, then we can achieve better communications with people. So I was lucky to work with Richard Bandler and John Laval, and this is Richard Bandler, and I learned a lot from him in terms of hypnosis as well, language patterns as well. And Paul McKenna is very good at stage hypnosis. He can just hypnotize people in 10 minutes on the stage and um, help people get rid of their phobias, etc. But of course, again, the aim of these seminars or trainings or workshops were not only to learn about hypnosis, but how to make use of these in our teaching as our parents or in sales business, in communication, daily life communication, etc. So we just have the words on the surface level, and people just hear the words and then put labels on people, right? Just we hear one word, one pattern from one person, and then we just make generalizations, for example. But we need to have a look at the deep structure of the meaning or of the words. I usually ask in my seminars the question, do we speak the same language? If it's a seminar in Turkish, for example, for Turkish-speaking people, or in English, whatever, do we speak the same language? Even if we're speaking our native language, we don't speak the same language because we give meaning to every single word. We give our own meaning to every single word. And most of the time, when we have communication breakdowns, it's about the words or patterns or nonverbal behaviors that we may misunderstand. When we speak, we naturally adopt three key processes with language. And these are leading us to communication breakdowns. In terms of communication, when we delete, distort, or generalize, we may have communication breakdowns. Like, for example, deletion. He annoyed me. She's better than me. Change is easy. We're deleting some information here, right? Or his voice makes me angry. So how can a voice make somebody angry? Or I made her feel awful. Again, how can somebody make somebody awful? Or mind reading. We do this a lot, mind reading. I know you don't like me. I know you are sad. Or you talk to a friend on the phone, and then after the phone conversation, you just say, I don't know why that person doesn't like me. Today, she was kind of cold to me. So we mind read, and this is the let's say one of the most dangerous things that we are doing. We are not checking these with our senses, five senses. And you make me sad, or people staring at me causes me anxiety, these patterns are, let's see, okay. There's nothing anyone can do to affect our internal state, but the distortion here is it's our response to the external stimuli, not the stimuli itself. Or we make generalizations. He never thinks about my feelings. So never, nobody, always kind of, when we use these, you're always like this. Nobody loves me. So you cannot go into the root of the problem when you generalize, when we use expressions like this, sentences like this. We cannot go into the root of the problem when a kid comes home and says, nobody loves me and crying. And come on, why? Yeah, what is the right question to ask? Because we have to talk about the problem, real problem. So we can say, but I love you, your mom loves you, your whatever. And then, so who doesn't love you? So there's a problem here, and we are just hiding the real problem by generalizing things. And there are some presuppositions in language, like the use of if. I will talk about three of them, only three of them. If you can arrange it, so again, in communication, when we use these, like this example, if you can arrange a meeting for 4 p.m., then the result could be, okay, I couldn't arrange it. So it's not that specifically used. When you but instead of that, if we say when you have arranged a meeting, then the probable result would be meeting arranged. Try, another word that sometimes causes a problem, it presupposes failure. So like try and get it done by Friday. Or let's say when I'm giving a speech on hypnotic language patterns, and the first sentence I use is like, okay, today I will try to share this and that with you. So try gives the meaning that I'll give it a try, but I don't know if I can manage it or not. So instead of that, again, please do it by Friday, all right? Instead of using these three important expressions, but you are familiar with this, so it just negates the previous statement. Yes, we have considered your idea, but, or you're a very nice person, but. So of course, you're just negating the first part of the sentence. Instead of that, we can say, and you're a very nice person, and, or I love you, instead of saying but, and if you do this and that, it will be much better. So let's be aware of all these meta language. Then, as you know, I use this a lot. Words are like loaded guns. We're using these guns, and I usually have this in my seminars. I have this small gun key ring, and I show it and I say, very important. The words hurt people, the words hurt us, we give damage to people, and we have to be careful. Okay, so our words, the way we use the language patterns influence us and those around us. And we have to be very, very clear about which words will lead to desired outcomes. Let's go into deep side of the iceberg, because people are not their words or behaviors, but they're more than that. Consciously or unconsciously, we speak to the unconscious minds of other people, and we row seeds to their minds, and our minds are also loaded with millions of negative or positive messages all throughout the day. commercials, social media. We're bombarded with all these messages. Okay, so advanced suggestion techniques. Yes, we think that we are learning consciously, but the mechanism of the brain is such that indirect unconscious learning is more permanent than learning through direct verbal instruction. That's why we have to be very careful about what kind of seeds we are sending to the unconscious mind. Indirect educational methods involve emotion, intentionality, and direct experiencing to reinforce learning. And okay, so again, learning through indirect methods often involves conscious and unconscious processes which lead to insights. Indirect methods allow for exploration of content further than the educators presenting knowledge, allowing for the generation of entirely new knowledge and ownership of it by the subject. Verbal instructions are useful, of course, but if it comes after indirect learning, to clarify, to answer questions, to provide labels for ideas, whichever arisen. It provides an opportunity for the known and discovered to be adequately verbalized. The language of trance, Milton model, some, examples would be, first of all, 4 foundational steps of Milton model. What do we do in Milton model? We distract the conscious mind. And then we free the unconscious mind of the critical faculty, engage the unconscious mind, and communicate with the unconscious mind. And how do we do this? Very simple sentences that we can use. Like, not the deletion, distortion, and generalizations that we talked about in meta model, but in Milton model, we are doing these on purpose for hypnotic patterns, hypnotic language, or for trance, for kind of getting rid of the conscious mind and working on the unconscious mind. So you are ready to listen. In the class, you're just telling your students, oh, how nice, I see that you are ready to listen. As you make sense of this in your own time, you are feeling more and more curious, and I can see this, how nice. You are gaining new insights, building new friendships. If you see that friends are not in group terms, etc., etc. So on purpose, we are deleting certain things. Or we are making generalizations. You can become more successful. You are able to discover new ways. You must take this forward to where it has to go. All the skills you need are easy for you to learn. So these are all suggestions to the unconscious mind. And then the students will believe that they can achieve and get the ideas or whatever we're teaching. Or on purpose, again, we are doing distortion. This means that you are getting all the help you need. Or the fact that you're attending this session means you're learning these patterns at a deep level. I know that you are becoming more interested. Mind reading for a different purpose now. I mean, in communication terms, of course, we shouldn't do that, but for hypnotic kind of suggestions, we can do this. I know that you are becoming more interested. I mean, how do we know, of course, but I know that you're eager to learn these, whatever. On each breath, you can relax even more for real hypnosis. Or if you can use this with your students, why not? Just have a soft meditative music, and then on each breath you can relax, and then you can ask them to imagine certain things. And for creative writing, we can do that. Or for writing purposes, we can do this. And plus, after the relaxation session, you can ask them to write whatever they have imagined. And of course, there are other aspects of the model, like tag questions. This is easy, isn't it? Your health is important, you know. You can you not? It's time to relax, don't you know? Kind of expression. And some embedded comments as well we can use to send directions straight to the unconscious mind, with the conscious mind blocking it. I'm curious about whether you will learn to relax and let yourself be comfortable in a few moments. What is interesting is, when did you last learn so easily? And double blinds, when will you clean up your clutter? Before you've had lunch or after? No other choice. Would you like, and you know, some stores selling dresses, and they are going through such, they are taking such trainings. And I have realized this, they're using this a lot. Would you like to order it in blue or in green? Or whenever you're at the counter, you're paying, they say, oh, I also bought it for myself, and this blue will be very nice on you. And would you like to get, or the salesperson uses this sentence, this question, would you like to have it in blue or green? Okay, so we can create more positive climates, and we can use the power, and we can just try to find out more expressions and incorporate and use in our teacher talk time, or any time with our children, or in our conversations, because this is also called conversational hypnosis. We are not hypnotizing eyes closed, but we are, just like we are exposed to lots of suggestions all throughout the day. So there are 5 techniques that we can use in order to achieve this. First of all, as usual in classes, while teaching, or in any kind of effective communication, building rapport is the first thing. Communication flows naturally if we build rapport. Altering voice, we have to use our voice in a more hypnotic kind of, slowing the pace, dropping the volume, speaking very deliberately. Never-ending sentences sometimes, run-on sentences. Some people say don't do these, but on purpose we can do these to distract the conscious mind, confuse the conscious mind, and get it out of the way. And I remember Richard Bandler would do this during his seminars, and he would do nested loops, like he would start talking about the three most important motivational aspects of teaching. very important things I will share with you. The first one is, and then he talks and talks and talks, and then the second one he says, and then he moves to another topic. And I would say, of course, I was not aware of the technique, but I would say, but no, he said he forgot to talk about the third issue. The first one was this, the third one. And then you are confused and you are just trying to remember, and unconsciously you get the message. And you are doing this on purpose, and then you're giving the messages. And then, of course, creating congruence. When thoughts, words, and body language all align, then you create congruence, and then things will be much easier. And of course, the most important thing here is adding symbolism, allegory, and metaphors. These allow the unconscious mind to decide its own understanding of the story. Just remember, the best teachers we had, if we think about the teachers that we had, they would start with a story, and sometimes you don't see the connection, but usually there is a kind of transition to the topic as a warm-up, for example, or you can create your own stories or your own allegory or metaphors. And then while talking about these, you can just add the suggestions, right, to the unconscious mind. Okay, this is what is also called conversational hypnosis. Okay, so maybe we can just, I can, hopefully, if I can read. Would you prefer to have a garden or a mountain hypnotic or guided imagination? Garden I have, and a mountain I have. Which one would you like to try?
We have 2 gardens, and I also go for garden.
Garden.
Okay, I have 1 mountain, 2 more gardens. So garden is
Gardens.
like
Okay.
5 to 1 wins.
Okay. Okay, garden. All right, but the mountain is for real motivation and success and reaching the top. And okay, but garden. All right, garden is also. Let's see. I like the other one. There's also a journey one, but let's start with the garden. All right. Now, if you like, you can relax. You can just feel comfortable. And take a deep breath. And if you like, if you prefer, you can close your eyes and imagine for a moment the most wonderful garden. And now imagine yourself as the person responsible for that garden. You are the gardener. Be in your garden. Look around your lovely garden for a moment and just see all the magnificent things growing there. Perhaps there are flowers. Perhaps there are fruit trees. Perhaps there are wonderful vegetables. You choose what is growing in your garden. You can grow whatever you like. You can also have statues, arches, palms, fountains, whatever you want. As you walk around your garden, see all the colors in your mind's eye. Smell the gorgeous smells. Hear the sound of the birds and insects. Feel the sensation of your feet on the ground as you walk. Feel the air against your face. Feel too a sense of pride in everything that you can see around you. Really enjoy your garden. Really enjoy everything that you can see and hear and smell and feel. And as you walk around your garden, be aware too of all the things that are not yet visible. Things you planted a while ago, but which have not yet come up. Seeds or bulbs which will one day emerge and flower and flourish. Just imagine how it will be when that happens, and how your garden will be even more beautiful as a result. And be glad. And be aware too, as you walk, that though plants wither and die, other plants will come to take their place. Plants that will grow and blossom and smell heavenly. And the cycle will go on, and you are a part of that. You help it to happen. Take a moment just to plant a few more seeds. There is a patch of newly dug earth, so all you need to do is scatter the seeds on the ground and then place some earth over them. There's a watering can nearby. Pick it up and sprinkle water over the earth. And then look round your garden again and notice a special tree, plant, or flower. Go up to it and look at it closely. Smell it. How does it smell? Just touch it gently. How does it feel to touch? Just take a moment to really appreciate it and be very glad that it's there, that it's part of your garden. In this special place, you can find the answer to anything you need to know. Ask the question, what is it I most need to know right now? Wait a moment for the answer and trust that it will be there whether you know it consciously or not. Look around your garden once more and feel again that sense of joy. Prepare to leave your garden, knowing that you can come back whenever you choose. Take a deep breath and slowly and gently come back to the room, bringing with you that sense of gladness and joy and taking it with you into the rest of your day and night and life. Could you imagine? Were you there in your garden? So after this kind of an imagination, you as language teachers can work with this, talking about the questions, the answers, what kind of a garden. And then of course you can, it was just a text, but if I were using it on purpose for my students, maybe I would incorporate some other sentences that they would need to hear. And so how did you feel?
Zeynep Hocam says, do I have to be back from that garden? So you
That's yours, Zeynep Hocam. That's yours. You can go
so
there
yes,
whenever you
yeah.
want, of course.
And Barış Hocam says, wait, I wasn't there physically? Amazing. Yeah, and Defne Hocam says, calm. Aylin Hocam says, so relaxed. Bilge Hocam says, great. Yeah. Especially the smell.
The smell,
The
did you
smell
feel
was
the smell?
wonderful. Yeah. I had that wonderful flowery smell in the air.
Great, Hocam.
That's all. I don't
So
have any other messages.
thank you very much. So we can just try different things. We can be just we can try to see how we can use some techniques, some language patterns to help our learners believe that they can learn, they can do certain things, and we need to use the power of language patterns, not only hypnotic, but the positive. Of course, we all know that it is very important in teaching or with our different roles. We need to use more positive language. So the real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes. So try to have new eyes and see new things and play with language, play with words, be language detectives, and just catch your words and then swallow some of them and say, I shouldn't be using this word again. Of course, we work hard to catch positive and negative ones and some again hypnotic patterns that we use, but we negatively affect other people. Like you see a friend in the morning and you say, "Oh, you look pale. Are you sick? Are you maybe you're getting an illness kind of thing?" And then you see another person. That person says again, "Oh, are you okay? Are you ill? And then all of a sudden your mood changes. This is again kind of hypnotic thing in terms of negative effect, of course. So let's be careful about the way we use our language and let's be open to try new patterns and language. And I have used my references, and thank you very much for again inviting me, Hojam, and giving me this chance to share one of the things that I am excited to apply and share in my seminars. Of course, if we were together, I would be doing some more practical applications. I know I talked a lot, but thank you very much.
That's what we do, don't we, Feyza Hocam? Thank you very much. Feyza Hocam, can you go back to your references and leave it there for a while?
Yeah,
People
sure.
want to see it again. Yeah, okay.
Sure.
Thank
And of
you.
course, I also use my seminar notes, and some examples were taken from some of the seminars by Bandler and their what's their files, etc. And hypnosis training academies examples I also use, and Revel and Norman in Your Hands. And they have another book. Do you remember that book? I also have this Jane Revell and Susan Norman. If you want to apply these, they have really good sources for ELT.
Thank you very much, Feyza Hocam. Our participants are thanking you and saying that it was an amazing session. And we have lots of compliments in the chat box.
Thank
Well,
you very much.
they are not only compliments, they are the actual truth, definitely. Now let me change the, yes, we like this. My dear colleagues, if you have any questions, you can raise your hand, unmute yourself, ask your own question, or if you do not have an access to a mic, you can write your question in the chat box and I can read it for you. Just to give you some time to think. Feyza Hocam, I do have a question.
Yes, please, Hocam.
When we use language, do we consider the our background information about that specific person to whom we address? Is that necessary, or should we adopt a general attitude?
Hocam, very difficult question. Thank you for this very difficult question.
You're more than welcome.
Actually, when, of course, it's impossible to alter our language according to a specific person, etc. But when we speak to a person and then we receive a reply or a response, all the response that we have will show us something that maybe we triggered something in a negative way, or it's all on our shoulders. We have to be responsible for our communication and to understand the other person. If you say something and if you feel that you are misunderstood, then we should try to understand and not judge the person by the words or the maybe nonverbal behavior. And we should just try to understand using 5 senses. We can ask for clarification, but the most dangerous thing we are doing is, as I said before, we're mind reading and we're just reaching conclusions when we hear someone say something. We just say, but you misunderstand me. No, this is not the way we should do. We should say, you misunderstand. No, do I make myself clear is the better way of saying it, right? Do I make myself clear? If not, we have to explain. But the most important thing is not to be biased or try to understand by, not judging just by one word or one reply. Otherwise, of course, we cannot just change our tone. But our communication studies say you can reach everybody if you want to. If this is your aim as teachers, this is, or as parents, as responsible communicators, we feel this, right? So if we want to reach everybody, we should just try, if we are misunderstood, then try to paraphrase what we are saying and read the body language. Body language is also another topic that I love, as you know. We can read that person and understand, and accordingly we can just communicate.
But Feyza Hocam, you misunderstood me.
Okay.
Just kidding,
so,
of course.
Really?
Just kidding.
So I'm ready to answer.
No,
answer
just,
again.
You know,
Really?
just after warning us, it's not the correct way of saying that you just failed to understand. I wanted to just, pick on you because that's something I hate when people say, you misunderstood me. You didn't understand me. And I go like, why? Do I look like an idiot? It's your responsibility to express yourself clearly. It's not my responsibility to understand you. Okay, so let me clarify myself. Most probably, I haven't asked my question in a very good manner, in a very clear manner. What I'm trying to say is, one sentence may have a different impact on different people. Maybe a positive sentence can be interpreted as something negative, or a negative statement can be interpreted as a positive statement, depending on the listener. So what I'm asking is it really possible to use generic sentences to approach people, or should we shape the language that we use depending on the listener?
Hocam, you're talking about, I guess, every one of us has our own mind maps,
Yes.
and we have our own schemata, and that's why we have, again, communication breakdowns, because we don't speak the same language. I mean, even if we are speaking the same language, we're not speaking the same language.
That's what you mentioned at the very beginning of your talk.
Yeah, so again, it's not a one-way traffic, it's a two-way traffic. When I say something, the other person is also responsible. Of course, I cannot just, with one sentence, one generic sentence, I cannot reach everybody. Everybody will misunderstand us.
Yes. Totally.
Because, I mean, everybody's mind map is different.
Yeah.
Everybody has a different kind of loading with from age 0 onwards. We're loaded with information and everything, and labels and everything. So it's something natural to have communication breakdowns. Really...
I love playing the devil's advocate. I usually ask questions like this so that people can also think of situations, and in the chat box they are actually giving me some advice. Thank you very much, by the way. What I'm saying is, let's assume a situation. This is not a question anymore. I'm just trying to make my point here. Okay, Feyza Hocam said she had eye problems, serious problems. And she thinks that she has horribly swollen eyes, very red, watery, dripping all the time, okay? So she believes that she looks horrible. But when she connects, immediately I said, Hocam, you look pretty okay. You don't look bad. Nothing bad about your look. You look wonderful. But then she says, no, I look horrible. You just cannot see it because of the camera. What I'm saying is, sometimes should I say observation, self-reflection, self-looking is so powerful. Sometimes encouraging words do not reach you. And sometimes you feel angry because this other person belittles your problem by saying, no, there's nothing wrong like that. So I totally agree with each and every word that Feyza Hocam has said so far, but I also want to add that this is not a very easy fight to win. If this person has negative self-acceptance, you will try harder to reach that person because they will block you. You can do this. I know you can do it. No, I can't. But I know you. You have brilliant ideas. I have seen you done it. You know, please, you can do it. No, I can't do it. Don't force me. So you need to be persistent as a teacher to reach that student. And unfortunately, we do have another bunch of students who are self-conceited, who think that they can do everything, but they can't. That's another battle that you need to fight. It's to show them that they are not that good without breaking their heart. So I guess our roles are becoming harder and harder day by day. I don't want to be a teacher anymore. I mean, look at us. We are doing everything. We are psychiatrists, we are artists, we are teachers, we are leaders. Hey, with the salary that I get, it's not worth it. Well, that's just a joke, but yeah, being a teacher is one of the hardest jobs, professions that you can find.
Yeah.
Definitely. Thank you.
I totally agree.
Yeah, I just wanted to add because it was a wonderful session, and we all believe in, by the way, visualization is a technique I use for myself. You can also try that if you feel very frustrated, angry, I don't know, disappointed, nervous, too tense. Use visualization technique by yourself. You can have a nice meditation music. You don't even need the music. Yeah.
And you can record your own voice. This is what sometimes I
sometimes think. I visualize. Yeah. And normally I do not prefer gardens. I prefer seaside. And Burcu Hoca has written a great remark. Let me find it to you. You're going to find it very funny. Burcu Hocam said, the moment I heard responsibility, when you said the garden is yours, I opened my eyes. But the rest was calming and reassuring. I totally understand what she's saying, because when you said the garden is yours, it's your garden, so you need to take care of the garden. That was a panic for me. No, I don't want to take care of the garden. I'm rich enough to have gardeners do that job for me. But that was a very funny remark, Burcu Hocam. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
But then, of course, remember, towards the end, Feyza Hocam said, if something goes wrong, you can just change it immediately without much effort. I remember something like that. If flowers do not bloom, you can just make them bloom, you know, or you can change the, so it's not that difficult to take care of the garden. That's something good, you know. I cannot see any questions. Seray Hocam says, thank you so much. I had a headache before the session, but now it's gone. Thank you for your relaxing and refreshing speech. Yeah. Tuba Hocam, you agree with me in which statement? using visualization for relaxation? Şebnem Hocam, I just said that Feyza Hocam has a terrible health problem. And Şebnem Hocam says, Aydın Hocam, let's speak till sahur.
I can.
Feyza Hocam needs to rest, for God's sake. Şebnem Hocam, what are you doing? Okay, visualization is very helpful with deadlines. Ah, interesting. I always imagine myself having fulfilled. That is dangerous, Burcu Hocam. You may believe in your own imagination, thinking that you have already done it. Yeah, definitely, definitely. Burcu Hocam says, when I visualize that I have completed it, I get there slowly. Yeah, that's true. I agree. Yeah, Tuba Hocam. Yeah, you agreed with me when I said being a teacher is a very, very hard one. Yeah. Yes, Tuba Hocam says, I'm an NLP practitioner besides being an English teacher. And you inspired to do some research on inspired some research on ELT. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Your talk inspired Tuba Hoca to do yes, NLP in ELT and do some research. Well, I guess there are no other. Yeah.
Thank you.
Feyza Hoca is great. Of course,
thank you very much.
Her talk is gonna be great. What else do you expect?
Thank you very much.
Unbelievable that the unconscious part
energizing for
has
me
such.
too.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Feyza Hocam, what do you think? Is it safer to say subconscious rather than unconscious?
I have seen, and I have of course we have to be careful about these, but usually they say non-conscious or unconscious. This is what is used in terms of operational definitions. When I mean, this is when we are not talking about the conscious mind, usually in terms of NLP and in terms of communication studies, they use unconscious or non-conscious. So we're talking about the part that we are not consciously thinking.
Okay.
And subconscious, maybe we need to talk about this with psychologists and of course, but they may not agree with this, but at least in our kind of literature, usually they use this term, or non-conscious mind.
I think I like non-conscious better, because when someone says unconscious, I think of a person who just passed out. Whose brain functions are not there anymore.
Yeah, this is also used, non-conscious.
Yeah, so maybe, I don't know. Personally, I like non-conscious better now when you said it. Okay. So thank you, Tuba Hocam. Thank you very much. Feyza Hocam, I really don't know how to thank you. Despite all the negative things, you changed this evening into something positive, something so nice.
Great, thank you.
So I do appreciate this.
We did it.
Yes, you managed it. You deserved a wonderful rest now with your meditation music and everything. And I hope you recover soon.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and believe me, you look gorgeous.
Thank you very much. You motivated me, and at the very beginning when you said, "Oh, I thought you were much worse," and I said, "Really? Okay." And you gave me the energy. Thank you very much, Aydın Hocam, for your hospitality, for your
it's a
wonderful
pleasure.
approach,
It's a
and
pleasure.
For inviting me, and you gave me this chance to be with my colleagues and students and friends. Thank you very much. I'm honored. Thank you very much, Ayten Hocam.
Thanks again. And my dear colleagues, of course, thank you a lot for being with us and bringing lots
Thank
of
you.
different ideas and sharing your opinions with us. Thank you. And I hope to see you next week with another great guest speaker. Take very good care of yourselves. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you. Have a nice night, evening. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.